said that everyone should read a New York Times article, and he's appalled that no women's group, no feminist group came out against this. And people have been saying this for a couple months already. Feminists, and not one feminist group ever came out in defense of Israeli women. And it's horrible. It's extremely, extremely angering. As a Jewish person, as a Jewish man, this thing didn't happen to women in a political way. This happened to our women, to Jewish women. And yes, I could say it happened to our women because you don't give a shit about it. Okay, you don't give a fuck about what happened. No feminist. Now, people are very upset that feminist groups did not come out against what happened. I'm not surprised at all. First of all, they didn't come, when the thing happened with Iran, you barely heard anything. I remember asking my friend from Iran, like what, that came from Iran. I was like, why? And she's a big feminist. And I was like, why come no feminists said anything about women there? Because they don't. Bottom line is, feminists as a group, as a whole, as a political movement, whatever you're going to call them, don't give a shit about women. Feminists do not care about women. Then you're going to say, that doesn't make any sense. Because feminism is about women's rights. And they start quoting you from the 1970s. Okay, very good. Feminism is a toxic hate group that hates men. They're anti-family. They're anti-establishment. Okay, they have nothing to do with women's rights. They never defend women, actually. The Me Too movement was a McCarthy-era movement against men, specifically against vulnerable men. So in other words, for every very powerful person, let's say Harvey Weinstein, that was correctly taken down out of power, even though he had a lot of power. So because of the Me Too movement, he's taken down, eventually he's put in jail. So for every Harvey Weinstein, there's another at least 100,000 or probably 1 million men falsely accused of being a creep, being a weirdo, being this and that. The Me Too movement was the McCarthy era against men. It was the horrible era. It was the beginning of the end of relationships in America as we know it, because men no longer approach women. The whole Western world is going to inverse and collapse, because if you don't have children, you don't have a future, you don't have an economy. Right now, we're good, I guess. Right now, we're good. But in the next 20, 30 years, it's going to be over, because there's not going to be any more relationships, not going to be any more future. Now, obviously, there's other reasons, because young people don't believe in the future economy and things are more expensive than they used to be. But one of the things that the feminists do, again, it's nothing to do with protecting women. They just shame men. They didn't shame men for doing something bad. They shame men for existing. Shaming people for existing has a lot of very detrimental effects long term. Okay? Short term, it's like, okay, if a man approaches a woman, he's a creep. So men stopped approaching women. Guess what happens with that? Stuff like that. It's little stupid details. But basically, I don't understand why people in the world have this like they get very scared. The first thing is when people talk about feminism, they get really scared. No. Feminism is about protecting women. And you're against that or something, whatever. They get very, very scared. They try to educate you with some 1972 statistics or whatever. It's pathetic. Feminism is a toxic hate group against men. It's very unfortunate. It's like a hatred, a gullus that came onto the world. So with that being said, after the Me Too movement and the vicious, nasty, hateful, and also honestly, when you meet Western women, so here in Jerusalem, you meet Israeli women, whether they accept the conversation with you, whether they accept you or reject you, there's always basic respect. But when you talk to certain women you talk to and you feel this toxic rejection, 9 out of 10 times, or actually 10 out of 10 times, those women will be from either England or America. Western women were like brainwashed in a nasty way. They just have toxicity coming out of them because they're brainwashed with this feminist, nasty, man-hating outlook. It's very unfortunate. You created that world, you go live in it. Feminism is a toxic hate group. It's as simple as that. Now, you're going to say those people didn't come out to defend women, the horrible things that happened to women in Israel. Makes a lot of sense to me. Why would they? They don't care about women anyway. Think about any feminist you know. What's driving them to actually empower women? Israeli women are actually empowered. You talk to them, they're empowered people. And when you finish dealing with them in any interaction, you walk away feeling empowered because they're actually empowered people. Western feminist women are not. They're full of toxic hatred. They're full of nastiness, which is the opposite of empowered. But they were given this thing about, they were messed up in a lot of different ways.